Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt
And
Roast.
I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our reaction and review for Poker Face Season 2, Episode 5. It is time to take us all out to the ball game. I
Aww.
I really like this episode. I like this
Me
episode.
too.
I'm not even really a big baseball guy, but there's something about minor league baseball where it's like these are the people who are really just in it because they like it. It's not because they're making a lot of money. And it's also, I'm really down with all the weird sport mascot names that these minor league teams all have. Like, what is it in this episode? The Cheesemongers?
Yeah, the cheesemongers. I'm not a huge sports girly, but when I was younger, I mean, I used to love the Blue Jays. I'm from Toronto. That's my home team. Used to be at Exhibition Stadium, which was outside, which, it was really fun. They had like cheap days where you could go and get, some inexpensive tickets and hot dogs and just relax. I really like Jesse Barfield for anybody who remembers him way back in the day. I really enjoy baseball. Of all the sports, that's my sport.
I went down a really weird rabbit hole after watching this episode because I was curious. It's like, what's the weirdest minor league name I could think of? I mean,
Mhm.
ironically, I already knew already of a team, not a minor league team, but a team called the Cheesemakers. So it's not like Cheesemongers is that far off. But I also found out that there is a Grasshoppers team. There is the Albuquerque Isotopes, which is just
I knew
total.
about the isotopes.
Yeah, that was totally bizarre. My personal favorite, though, and I think this was just temporary, but there was a minor league team that temporarily called themselves the Pizza Rats, and I am here. Name that team the Pizza Rats permanently.
Yeah.
I will buy all your merch. But it's just now in the midst of the minor league setting, which I think is a really good setting for a
Mm.
whodunit or how did they do it mystery. I just think we had a very cohesive case for Charlie to solve and a kind of an interesting cast of characters that are all around her.
Yeah, I mean, we had some really great guest appearances. Carol Kane. I mean, I remember the first time I ever saw her was in The Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies. I just love her.
Yeah, this one was interesting because a lot of these other episodes we've had either an A-lister or like a
Mhm.
really big name B-lister, and it feels like this episode is really for a lot of the character actor fans out there. The Carol Kanes, we had Gil Birmingham, who a lot of you probably know from Yellowstone as Rainwater, and it's this show is just
I
fun.
love him.
He is so good and he was so fun in this episode. And I just thought the last episode, as much as I love Kumail, it was just a little bit too crazy and a little bit not focused.
I also really love that we had BJ Novak, which I didn't know he was going to be in this episode. But when they started out this episode, where we had Charlie at her new job and she's working in an office, and she's like, yeah, man, I binged all these episodes of The Office and now I'm working in this office. I was just like, I feel like so many people did that, where they watched The Office and felt like maybe an office job might be okay. So to have BJ Novak come in here as sort of this guru for her after she watched all these Office episodes was so funny.
Yeah, and from what I know, and this is definitely not a slight to you, BJ Novak, because I'm also really weird. You're kind of a weird dude, and so I'm not surprised that you wanted to sign up and play whatever that role was in this episode.
I'm so glad he did. It really hit.
All right, well, we have a lot to get into here in this Poker Face review, but before we dive further into all of it, be sure to hit that subscribe button because, yeah, we are in the midst of talking all about Poker Face. We're going to have a lot of reviews coming up, and also this week, the premiere of Nine Perfect Strangers Season 2
Mhm.
just arrived on Hulu. We want to also talk about a show that's really, really weird, but interesting and twisted and got a great mystery. We highly suggest you take a look at that as well.
And an amazing cast. I
Yeah.
mean, it's incredible. And this season has dropped 2 episodes already for the premiere. It is really good. We highly suggest you check that out. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our coverage of that show. And also over on our Patreon, we are covering Murderbot, which is airing on Apple TV Plus, as well as Criminal Minds Evolution. It is in season 3.
Yeah.
It is an amazing season this season. Like, it's so good. I can't even. This last episode was wild. Just heartbreaking, amazing, amazing. We have those reviews up on our Patreon. It is the only place that you can get them. So we'll have a link for you below to be able to check that out. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the number one reason why this particular episode worked so unbelievably well for me is I think for Poker Face, you want to have a killer who has a motive that, yeah, it's maybe a little bit out there, but at the same time, it still feels like it exists within the frame of reality. Like the idea of players putting money on their own games and then potentially losing them.
Yeah.
This has happened. Like, this has happened in real life. I mean, there has been, I say this as a beloved Toronto Raptors fan, is that there was a Raptor just a couple of years ago who found himself roped up in allegedly a scheme kind of similar to this. So it's like, okay, I buy into all of that, just like I buy into the idea that you've got an aging pitcher who can't find his fastball, and here comes the new hot shot who's going to make it. And then you have all this jealousy. It's like all these things are kind of relatable regardless of if you care about baseball or not.
Yeah, I think it's a really relatable story if you're in a profession from a younger age, you've been really working at it for so long, you were kind of the rising star and it just didn't really go anywhere, and then in comes this younger player who is really good and here to sort of not rub it in your face or anything. This player came in and was like, "Hey, man, Russ, you're a legend. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing to be here with you, and I'm really thankful for this opportunity to show what I've got as well. So, thanks for having me in," kind of thing. Like, he didn't come in and was rude or anything like that. Really, the murder all just came about because Felix, this younger player, found out what they were doing.
Yeah. And that, okay, here's once again, not a baseball expert. You guys can tell me off in the comments for this, but it just feels like losing the amount of games consecutively that these cheesemongers have lost.
29 straight losses.
That's really hard. It feels like once you
Yeah.
get to, because that's basically being like, okay, so you're going to manage to keep losing even if you run into a pitcher who has like a really bad day, or maybe the other team's outfielder has somebody who's just like drunk and passed out back there or something like that. The idea that you're going to lose that many games is suspicious a little bit in itself. I mean, these other guys, they're not geniuses, so it's not like I am not shocked that Felix ended up discovering some of this.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of them decided to write down the whole plan in Felix's book. So, I mean, of course, he was going to come across it, realize what's going on after they switched his gum out for special gum, we'll call it that.
Yes.
And Felix didn't really know what was going on, but, he was still playing pretty decent, but he was able to put all the pieces together at the end. And when he confronted Russ about it, it's like, okay, not only did you guys do this to me with my gum and, everything that you guys have been doing to lose all these games, you've been betting on them. I have evidence of it because one of your guys is such a dum-dum. He's written it down in my book. So
Yeah.
it's now my information. I think his biggest mistake was give me all of the money instead of give me a cut of the money, because I think it would have gone a different way. Like, Russ even said, "You're asking for all of our life savings, everything that we put into this. Why not half? We'll give you half and the rest of us will, split up what's left." That wasn't even good enough. And if Felix just wasn't greedy, everybody would have a share and everybody would be happy.
I enjoy dumb criminals. I'm just going to say it. I like watching criminals do dumb things and get caught. It's sort of occasionally you'll see those shows where it's here comes somebody in to rob the convenience store and then they slip on a banana peel on the way in, or the clerk behind the scenes has a baseball bat and then just take it to him. I enjoy watching these people fail. And from the moment this whole scheme was orchestrated, it was just like, okay, obviously this is going to fail for a number of different reasons. I did wonder that though with Felix too. It was like, okay, you went really hard at a bunch of people who were probably not that well off financially and are also a little bit desperate, because I mean, I don't know, like this sort of action when it comes to games and putting money on them, like that's not my speed. I don't know whether or not this is something that people really love with their heart and soul, but it's just like, to me, you're not doing this if you are a player on a minor league team unless you feel a certain measure of desperation. It's like these people are not rolling in it, Felix.
No, they're not. And I feel a lot like he just wasn't thinking properly because he had this gum. And I will say that the whole thing with the gum,
Yeah.
it was really fun. Like as he chewed this gum and the effects started taking effect, he seemed to be getting better and better. It reminded me of that episode of WKRP in Cincinnati
Oh.
when Venus Flytrap and Johnny Fever had a cop in and they were doing like a have a drink and do the test of the reflexes. And, you know, as Venus was getting drunker, of course, he was getting worse. But as Johnny was getting drunker, he was getting faster and more accurate. And the cop was just like, couldn't believe what was happening. And Venus is in the corner wearing the cop's hat. And he's just like, woo. But here, Felix is just getting better and better and better. But it feels like because he had this gum, that he just wasn't thinking straight. He wasn't putting those pieces together that, oh, maybe the team is really desperate that they would do this. Oh, the Russ has just told me they put all their life savings into it. That could be a clue. He just didn't care because he couldn't think.
Felix, I did appreciate the discussion of Music of the Spheres. Are you a secret Coldplay fan? Is that what's going on
You're
here?
a not secret Coldplay
One of the
fan.
better albums. That listen, they had some not good ones. They came back. Everything is good now. We're all happy. But it was just I love how trippy everything got with all of that. I also okay. We'll talk about dumb criminals. This is not as dumb as putting all the information in Felix's book, but I don't know if anything is going to top that. But I think the
No.
way in which we saw Felix go, it is the death by pitching machine, which I've never been to a batting cage, so I can't really relate or understand how fast these balls are coming at you. I'm assuming it is pretty darn fast. Like I understand in theory the idea of, okay, we're gonna set this up to make it look like he was just in here, this machine's been a little bit faulty, something is going to happen. Like who is going to think to check the average speed of pitches versus the velocity of this ball when it is coming at him? Like, nobody's going to figure this out, ... right?
Yeah, I mean, it was you're thinking on the fly here.
Yeah.
Russ didn't really know what to do. I mean, yeah, he got his fastball back,
Yeah.
but at what cost, right? I mean, Felix is over there kind of goading him into doing something where, you know, he just snapped, he threw the ball, he killed him. Oh, I'll just use this faulty machine. No one will suspect it because everybody here knows that this machine is dangerous and that it should have been replaced years back, but it hasn't been because we all broke into the minor leagues.
This all, like the setup of the case, what's going on with the pitching machine, and most importantly, Russ getting his fastball back. This sets up,
Yes.
to me, my favorite ending to a poker face mystery that we've had through these couple of seasons. I loved how this played out because there was real tension, right? There was this idea of, okay, he knows that if he pitches this fastball, there's a great chance he's incriminating himself. But at the same time, Charlie baits him with the, oh, there might be a scout. And you even got a quote unquote scout in the stands acting like it.
Mhm.
All of this kind of also reminded me of Angels in the Outfield for everybody who remembers that movie. Whenever, you know, the kid supposedly saw an angel helping a baseball player, they would do the angel symbol. And all the crowd was getting so excited. He was just like, I got to do this. I got to make all the fans happy. His ego versus his own culpability. Like it was really tense. I didn't know where it was going to go.
Yeah, like I didn't feel that it was actually a scout. They've lost 29 games in a row or whatever. I mean, Russ really was at that point battling his own ego.
Yeah.
And he knew that he had his fastball back. But for him to not question why a scout would be at this game after they've lost 29 games in a row, to look at him like it was surprising because he didn't have the gum. So why wasn't he thinking a little more straight?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think he was clearly delusional, and I think Charlie must have read him well enough to know that it's just like, okay, what do I think you want more than anything else? You want a last hurrah. It's sort of like,
Yes.
Oh, I know this is especially true with football players because this is a really hard job to go back to after you get hurt, where it's like you don't want your career to end on an injury or where
Mhm.
nobody remembers you. You want to go out there and have your last big push at it. And I think he got so blinded by that idea that he took this hook, line, and sinker. Like, of course, Charlie ends up solving the case. It's just the way in which it all came about in this episode is just so fun, so enjoyable. Everything from the setting to the colors of the uniforms, it just all pops off the screen.
That announcer eating the velvety cheese and making announcements, being like, I may have had too much. If there's a doctor in the audience, you might want to come by the booth to help me out. I have stopped eating the cheese. I was just like, it's so hard to stop eating the cheese. I am such a huge cheese fan. You could put some melty cheese on an old shoe, and I will have that for dinner.
Okay, all of that, I mean, boy, that was hilarious. It
It was
also,
so funny.
I will give a little bit of a story time here. I was drum major in my high school marching band, which meant that I was stuck at a lot of high school football games. And our announcer was also our history teacher, Mr. Salerno. Shout out to you. But every single game, he would do this ad read for the concession stands. I don't know if he had it in front of him or if he just memorized it. He would list through all those things that then at the end he would be like, and then we have my brother's favorite, Frito pie. And then everybody would just start yelling it at him. And now, because of what you just said in that episode, I'm picturing him just eating the Frito pie and having chili all over his face while he's doing this.
Until you told me that story years back, I had no idea what Frito pie is. I'm from Toronto. We don't have Frito pie up there, but it sounds delicious.
It's really good, but I saw this Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. I saw this episode of him in like New Mexico where he was eating it out of a chip bag, and I was just like, this seems like a disaster waiting to happen. We just ate it out of a bowl. It's not like that, but okay. Like all of this is obviously really, really entertaining, but I think it's time we have another discussion about the good buddy of it all.
Yeah, is Good Buddy going to be friend or foe? I mean, right now they're really setting him up to be a friend. He's somebody that we've got Charlie on the road going to these different places, different jobs, and she's sharing her experiences with Good Buddy, who is Steve Buscemi. We haven't seen him yet,
Yeah.
but it's his voice, it's him. But maybe I've just watched too many murder mysteries and this as well, murder
Yeah.
mystery, for me to just think that Good Buddy is just actually a good buddy. The fact that his name is Good Buddy, I'm just like, uh-oh, maybe he's not. Maybe there's somebody else that's figured out how to kind of connect with her so that they can use her for something. I'm not saying he's like Darth Vader and he's trying to kill her or anything like that, but maybe he has other intentions.
I'm a little bit like you in that I think because we've watched so much TV, I'm extremely jaded when it comes to these things. Like one idea that comes to mind is, for those who don't know, we are always headfirst into Only Murders in the Building, and there has been this ongoing Moriarty big bad conversation we have been having over there for years, that someone is lurking behind the scenes, and Good Buddy could very well be that, but I'm gonna zag here. I'm gonna say Good Buddy is actually a good buddy, and here's the reason why. I just want it to be the case. Like, I just know that Steve Buscemi is great at playing dark, twisted, weird roles. Like, like BJ Novak, he's kind of a weird dude. So he's really, really good at that. But because of this show being the way that it is, I could see a scenario where maybe Good Buddy is just sort of who he says he is, but maybe there are some people around Good Buddy who are not as good. It's just no matter what they do with him, I really just hope that, one, we see Steve before the end of the season, and then two, like, this is going to be building up to something really, really fun and maybe something we can spend more than an episode on. Like, I like the procedural format of this show, but I think once you get around to a finale, it's okay to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I tinfoil hat think
Okay.
that the finale or maybe the second last episode is going to be something has happened to Good Buddy, and because she's been building this relationship with Good Buddy, she finds him and she's trying to figure out what happened to him, and not necessarily that he's dead, but maybe somebody is trying to kill him or somebody's trying to do something to him, and they meet up, and it'll be like a one-off episode where her and Good Buddy are figuring it out together.
Well, that's where we are now coming out of Poker Face Season 2, Episode 5. I wasn't sure before we started talking about this, but I'll say it now. This is my favorite episode of the season. It's just
Oh,
having.
the funeral is still mine. It was so ridiculous. I mean, yeah, there were some issues with like just the realistic aspect of it. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna throw a battery into a retort and the whole thing is gonna explode. Like, it'll have a little
Yeah.
explosion and it'll damage the bricks and you'll have to replace it and that'll be annoying. But it's not gonna blow it up the way that it did. But it was still so fun.
That episode is really, really good too. I think for me, I'm just at this point with this show in particular that a lot of it just comes down to what sort of fun memories do I have after watching it, and how much fun do I have talking about it with
Hmm.
you? And it's just like I've had so much fun talking about this episode, and
Oh.
it feels like one on a rainy day I would just go back and watch
Oh,
again.
yeah, me too.
It's like there's this Bachelor spoof of Psych that I've seen 200 times, and I've maybe there's one or two episodes of Psych I've seen 5 times, but I've seen this episode like 100 times more than any other. But thank you guys for watching our review here with us. Be sure to hit that subscribe button for more discussions, and you
Mhm.
can support us further by joining our Patreon. We've got that link in the description. Like Jess said, we are covering over there exclusively in video form Murderbot, as well as Criminal Minds
Yeah.
Evolution. Thank you so much.
Thank
We will
you.
see you here next time.